This is the Paris Art and Movie Awards. We are celebrating 10 years in 2020. My name is Matt Bourrois. I'm the founder of the festival and running the festival for the past 10 years. I am very happy to have with us today William Baldwin. And William, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And the director of the movie, Romuald, thank you for being here. Bonjour.
Bonjour, thank you so much. What about doing this in French? Would be great for Billy, right? Because Billy is totally fluent in French.
Totally. We could do that. Maybe as a bonus track in the end, we can try that.
I'll try my hardest.
As an introduction, I'm going to start to say, we were just discussing that off the record, but the movie talk and Romuald, you won Best Revelation Filmmaker back in January 2019 for the Hollywood festival we run, the Hollywood Art and Movie Awards that we created 4 years ago. That's the small brother of the Paris Art and Movie Awards, because our goal has always been to create a connection and a bridge between Paris and Los Angeles, basically because Paris filmmakers dream to go to Los Angeles and the Los Angeles filmmakers just want to come to Paris with us. Mm-hmm. So we are trying to cross the market here. The movie Talk is nominated this year for Best International Short, and William, you're nominated for Best Actor in the category for the Best Actor. So congrats you guys for that.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I was very thrilled about the award in January, but this festival is very special to me because actually, even if the story takes place in LA, we shot everything in Paris.
You shot everything in Paris, yeah.
I came to Paris and it was amazing. So being here in Paris in that festival, prestigious festival, it's incredible.
It means something. So how did you take place, William, Billy? How did you flew to Paris? How did you end up working on that film?
I just got a phone call from my agents saying that they wanted you to work on this project. It was going to be a few days shooting in Paris. It was a short. I was sort of intrigued because, well, you just said it yourself, American actors want to go to Paris. I was sort of intrigued. It's not the kind of thing I would normally, under normal circumstances. In my career, I've done unconventional things. I've done like USC student films. I've done NYU student films. I've done, and I'm not comparing the two, but I've done stuff like it was sort of unorthodox just because I wanted to mix it up and just try something fresh and new and different. And they had this short. I love the script. I got a chance to work with Rom. We've become very, very good friends. And I'm very excited about the chance to be able to do it again. But when I came there, I was there, I don't know, probably not long, 2 or 3 days, maybe 2 days before we started shooting. And then we shot for just a couple of days. And then I got a chance to see the city after we wrapped. I got a chance to stay in town for 3 or 4 more days. I had my daughter fly in and spend a few days with me in Paris. That was great. And I'm ready to do it all over again. I'm ready to come back.
We're going to talk about.
I would get out of the COVID lockdown in California. If you would send me a plane, I would leave. Let me just grab lunch quickly, and I'll be on my way.
It's so it's not the first short film you work on.
No, but this was really the first professional short film that there was like a budget and a schedule. Like I said, I've worked on USC student films. I've worked on NYU student films. The NYU student film that I did 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Throughout my career, I've always just thought like, this would be fun. I'm just I've got some time and this was a professional production. But I mean, I literally, again, not equating the two, but like my dear friend's son was doing a short film for the local Santa Barbara Film Festival.
Yep.
And he asked me if I would play the male lead in the film that he was submitting in the student section. He's a high school student, and in the student section of filmmaking in the student film competition, he shot a film and asked me if I would play the male lead in it, which I don't know if that helps or doesn't, because sometimes when you're in, international film festivals for students and you have movie stars in your film, it can
maybe confusing.
It might backfire. But he also asked me to do a film for his application film to apply to film school. He did like a 2-minute short, and he asked me to be the lead actor in his film short to apply to film school, and I did that as well. So I'm always looking to, it doesn't always have to be, you know, the lead in a television series. It doesn't always have to be the lead or the third or the fifth lead in some cool ensemble film. I just was, you know, Rom was you know, incredibly supportive, and a box that I would check clearly as a positive: the script, the character, coming to Paris. And I'm not complaining about this, but it's almost like I wish we had more time, because we really packed a lot of work into just a couple of days.
Well, I have to say something. I have to say something that Billy arrived like on the Tuesday at noon, something like that, and he sent me a text and say, "Are you ready to come to the hotel to work?" And like a few hours later, we were meeting to work on the script. I mean, he was with all the jet lag we can imagine and everything. He was
ready to go.
Yeah, it was incredible. And the next day we did a table read with all the other actors, and the day after we were shooting. I mean, I don't know how he did it. I mean,
Was it the first time you met in this hotel room?
Yeah. It was.
I felt like I knew him, but that was the first time we met. But that was the point. I really wasn't ready, and I wanted to understand the material better, and I wanted us to all to collaborate, to like immerse ourselves into the world, and I wanted us to be able to, you know, you can't finish each other's sentences in a couple of days the way you can when you're on a television series and you're in season 3. You've been working together for years, but I really wanted to hear everybody's take. I wanted Ron was open to, I had, you know, one or two ideas where I thought might help take the audience a little bit deeper into the world, and we tried a few different things. And the table reading was very good. The people that were there were way more familiar with the material than I was, so they really helped me to get ready, because I did some rehearsing and some script work the first day. We did a table reading the second day, and all of a sudden we were off to the races.
Let's go. So
it was incredible. It was also incredible because we shot, you know, like all the story takes place in the studio.
One place.
One place, one location, because that's the concept of the movie. It's to get the viewers their imagination with all the tension and everything. So, but the thing is, Billy was shooting like non-stop, because he was in every
shot, every angle.
He was in every shot. So he was shooting from 9 a.m. to midnight or to 11 p.m. It was on him, and on him. So it was a performance. Incredible.
I have a question often coming back every year in the festival, when you have a big movie star name attached to a short film. Other filmmakers want to know, Rom, how did you get in touch, and how did you manage to convince Billy or his agent or everybody in between you and Billy to get him on the film?
Well, honestly, I was looking for the perfect actor for that movie, because it's very specific. To play a radio host, you have it or you do not have it. It's very specific, and I saw Billy in a show that I love called Northern Rescue on Netflix. You should watch it. It's incredible. And I said to my wife, look, it's him. It's him. I have to be in contact with him. And so I sent an email to his manager, who was great. And his manager actually said exactly what Billy said. Like, Billy doesn't do short usually, so don't really expect that he's gonna say yes. And a few days later, I was very lucky, because he read the script, and based on the material he had, he was very interested. So
this is so cool. Like, let's go to Paris and work on this short. It's set in this really cool world. I don't know if we ever had any vision of turning that into a full-length feature, but you know, go to Paris, you know, rehearse hair, makeup, wardrobe, shoot for a couple of days, and then hang out and, you know, make a new partner in crime with Rom. And I also really, really, really love that world, man. I mean, I know some people that were on radio. You know, I don't know Howard Stern very well, but my brother Alec knows Howard Stern very well. And the thing that I loved about this character is that it wasn't just Rush Limbaugh, where it was politics. It wasn't just Howard Stern, where it was shock. It wasn't just a sports radio jock. It wasn't just hard news. It wasn't just Dear Abby with like relationship consultation. Like, anybody could call in the show at any time, and this guy could handle. He was like in baseball what they call a utility infielder. Like, he could play third base one day, second base the next day, center field the next day, you know. And I love the fact that, and that's what we wanted to establish early in the script, is that when the people that were calling in, one person was, unjustifiably laid off from their job, another person was having their heart broken and because they were being dumped. And I loved the fact that you could do a call-in show and you could talk about world affairs or current affairs, or talk about COVID, or talk about Trump, or talk about the New York Yankees. And it's sort of like it just left the door open for anything, any possibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be a really cool show to have on the radio, actually.
That would be. Was it inspired kind of by your experience in radio? Because you've been working in France in radio a lot, and TV and producing and everything. So you've seen backstage how it happens, and these kind of live calls who were so hype in the 90s. So
it's true. Actually, so I spent like 15 years on one of the biggest radio network called Energy in France. And actually one day a listener called and said to the girl who was working with me, I want to talk I want to be on air. I want to talk to Rom. And so I went there and not on air, but the guy told me, if you do not put me on there, I killed your mother. I kidnapped your mother and I killed your mother. But my mother was already dead 2 years ago. So it was not a very good, it didn't work very well. So, but back then I get some inspiration from that because it could happen at any time live. And Billy was so good because when he said the first sentence behind the mic, behind the in the studio, I said, oh my God, it looks like I've been listening to his show for 20 years. I mean,
I got to say, and Billy's performance is a lot responsible for that. The radio feel, the sound, the texture of the sound, and even
his voice actually.
His voice.
Yeah. I've definitely got a voice that's good for radio. Yeah.
Yeah, and all that together, the voice is a good cast, the location is a good cast, the sound design of the sound mixing. I've been working in radio too, and I've been in radio studios, and you get the special feel that you don't get when you get on TV, for example. It's very different, and the movie really does it justice.
Well, actually, I don't know if you saw that, but we put a different sound when we were in the booth with the technician, and when we then with Billy, and when we try to work on the sound very carefully.
Definitely works. Billy, did you when you arrived in Paris, you knew the script? How did you approach the rehearsal and the table read? Did you have something in mind for the character Elvis already, or you got inspiration from everybody else in the team?
It was both. I mean, clearly I had to come in with some sort of mindset for how this was going to work and how I was going to play it. But I had to leave myself open too, because I hadn't met the cast yet, and I hadn't I hadn't rehearsed with anybody yet. I hadn't spent any time with Rom yet. And again, I love the world that it was set in. I guess the American jock that this show reminds me of the most is Don Imus, the famous talk radio host who died a couple of years ago. Don Imus was a very famous radio host in the morning. He had a show called Imus in the Morning, and he was very controversial. And I couldn't stand him half the time too. But he could talk. He was very fast on his feet. He could talk about anything under the sun. He didn't usually talk about sports, but he could talk about sports. But he talked a lot about current events and world affairs and politics and the craziness going on in the world. And he was very, very brazen and abrasive and politically incorrect. He didn't care about political correctness at all. And sometimes he said stuff on the air that you could have said on the air 10 years ago, 15 years ago, but you could no longer say on the air today. And he was very old school. He was a dinosaur. Yeah. And he said stuff, and it forced him off the air a couple of times. He got into trouble a couple of times. But I like those guys that can talk about a lot of stuff, but I like those guys that also don't get caught up and get overly obsessive with like what people think of them. They really truly don't care what people think. And that's why so many people are drawn to them, is because they come across like you know that expression, shoot from the hip?
Yep.
There's an expression they use for radio hosts. He shoots from the lip.
Yeah,
shoots from the lip.
I get it.
Bang, 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 bang. And I like that. That might be something for us, Rom, to explore if, for Talk, the television series.
Is there going to be a television series about it?
That'll be next. We'll see. That'll be next.
What about, because I think you talked, Ram, you mentioned the option of a feature film.
Yeah, actually, I didn't have that plan in my head, but when because I didn't want to extend a short movie, but meeting with Billy and going through all those festivals, and I wanted to do something else with Billy and talk and I had an idea for actually to write a strong story and to get this character again, to work with this character in Billy again. So I'm very happy we are currently developing the long version.
Cool. That could be something like, I'm comparing just at the top of my mind, Phone Booth with Colin Farrell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Phone Booth could be, it's a concept that could be a just log line, an amazing log line, just like talk. And you could find ways in writing and in everything to make it a feature film and just make it like breathtaking.
I don't know if you saw a movie called The Guilty, a Danish movie. Was incredible. You should see it. It's exactly
okay.
It's The Guilty. It's a Danish movie. It's actually in a 911 center. A guy received a call and it's and you. So I love that when you get your imagination and you're part of the movie. I love that. So that's what we try to do with the short, and I hope we will do it with the long version.
So Billy, the movie, the whole movie is on you. You are on screen all the time.
Yes.
The character is using the space nonstop. Did you have any space for improv? Or did you have with Ram the goal to stick to the lines, or did you need to stick to the lines for technical reasons?
You know, sometimes if I love to have the latitude and the luxury of if something naturally, organically comes out of your mouth that's not scripted and it serves the same purpose, but it's sort of more in the rhythm of, you know, the way the character speaks, or sometimes I'll consciously change something because I think it's more in the rhythm of the way the character would say it. But sometimes it'll just come out of my mouth based on the emotion, based on the circumstances. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. There's writers like Aaron Sorkin and people like that who are very particular, very much sticklers for Shakespeare or Tennessee Williams. They want it said precisely the way it's written. With Ram, it was great because, you know, given certain circumstances, there was like stuff that came out of our mouth that wasn't necessarily entirely scripted in it. And I think
you did it a lot of times when you said that. Actually, you said, oh, it's better, I think, if I say that like that way and everything. And it was great to work with you on that, to get your inputs. Yeah.
Because the movie is kind of the same question for you, but in a different perspective, Ram. The framing, the shots, the camera moves are very specific, almost methodic to me. So what was the space for the actors and for you to allow for some kind of improv? Because when you have a specific move from A to B and the camera needs to end there and he needs to deliver the line when the camera ends B, on that film, how did you work with that?
On that movie, we didn't have a lot of time. That's the thing. We only had 2 days. And so I did I had all the shot well prepared. So the thing is, I was only doing what I needed, but the good thing with that, Billy was able to do some improv. Sometimes we get a little time to, so I was able to do a few things like that. But I knew when the camera would move. I knew already what shot I would have to do, because I didn't have the ability on the set to sit for an hour and think.
Yeah, you didn't have time to allow for too many.
And actually, I have something to tell, but I was very frustrated because the opening scene, I don't know if you remember, we are in
outside,
LA and
going outside, through the window.
But actually we stopped behind the window. and we did not go through. And when I wrote it, and my dream was to go through the window and behind the head of Elvis, but we didn't have time. It was 1 a.m. on the second day, and I mean,
so you're gonna make that David Fincher move for the TV show or for the feature film.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll get that time.
Rob, why was that? Was it just because we had the crew working so much? Was it a budget thing? Like we couldn't afford to go into another hour or something? Or
no, I think it was sometime. I had everything I wanted, and it was just an extra thing. And it was like 1 or 2 a.m. And I think sometimes for the crew and for everybody. And I think we had. Yeah, we need sometimes to adapt, but that's the only thing. When each time I see the movie somewhere, I'm always frustrated to say, I want the camera goes through the window behind
you may be, but remember, people don't know. People don't know what you wanted to do. They just get the film they get on screen.
Right.
So it doesn't change. It doesn't affect the strengths of the film. That's for sure. Kind of a classic question, Billy, for you. Is it different to work with a French director than American director? And how do you?
Well, you do the accent, probably.
I guess. For start.
I never really. Maybe I'm a sucker for European culture and European artistry and European. I worked with a director from Chile who lived in Paris for the last 35 or 40 years of his life. I don't know I'm assuming you know Raul Ruiz.
Yep.
He was a protege of, oh my gosh, what's his name?
That I don't know.
The gentleman who directed Barfly with Mickey Rourke. Anyway, so he was from Chile, but he lived in Paris for many, many years. And I did a film with him. And we shot for 3 weeks in Jamaica, and we shot for 3 weeks up in Vancouver. It was a 6-week shoot, and it was a film that I did with Anne. Help me pronounce Palio.
Anne Palio.
And Palio.
Yeah.
And we were the stars of the film. It was called Shattered Image, and he was a South American. He was from Chile, but he had spent so many years, decades, and he had done several films with. I believe he worked with John Malkovich. He had done many films with Mastriani and Catherine Deneuve. He was older. He was probably in his almost 80 years old when I was directed by him. But there's something about being under the support and the guidance and the tutelage and surrendering to the talents and to the intellect of somebody that either knows way more about this than you do or knows as much as you do. I mean, Rom, I've been involved with more films than Rom, but to know that you feel that, like, the safety net's there and you feel safe and that you can surrender because this person has instilled the confidence in you that they know what they want and they know what they're doing. And there is something about a refined, cultured European artist that I guess makes you feel a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more safe than some American cowboy stunt coordinator who's directing an episode of Magnum PI, and you're working with a stunt coordinator because it's all filled with stunts and action and stuff. But I had a great time working with him and with Rom, and I think that I couldn't believe what we were able to do in two days. It was absolutely incredible what we were able to do in 2 days.
It's a challenge. It must have been a challenge because it's a lot of dialogue for 2 days. Actually,
25 minutes. I have to say the short is 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's 25 minutes. And did you have 25 pages or did you have more? Did you cut some?
Oh, I have less actually. I have 16 pages, but with the music and everything.
Music and the pace.
And the pace, yeah, and and walking. Actually, I know you didn't ask me the question, but what the difference is between walking with French actors and American.
Interesting.
The American ones knows their lines.
Yeah, they know their shit.
But the main difference. The American ones are walking. Actually,
they do. They don't. They arrive on set. They arrive
on set and they know the line, they know the project.
I've been there.
I've always been. I've always taken it seriously in terms of my my preparedness. And, I've heard horrible stories. I had an actor, my brother, I do a Zoom call with my brother Alec, and we were on with a bunch of our high school friends, and he was telling this story, this famous story. I can't remember who the actress was, but she was working with Marlon Brando, and she walked into his trailer like the third day they were shooting, and she was about to start doing her scenes with him. And she said, I'd like to rehearse the scenes with you. And Brando was like, I'm sorry, but I haven't read the script. I don't know any of it. He goes, I just have a little piece in my ear and they just tell me my lines and I don't even know what the story is about. And it would serve no purpose for me to this. Like, that's not my process. I don't do that. He's like,
yeah, it's not my process.
Shoot his scenes with her. And he never read the script and he didn't read the scenes and he was just going to go in there and somebody was going to tell him what the lines were. They're just going to shoot a close up of him delivering his lines.
It's a process. It's a different process. Yeah. It is. Yeah. Rom, is it your directorial debut?
Well, I did a lot of TV series for Disney and a lot of commercials, and so I knew all the team I was working with, and I'm actually shooting a lot, but it was my first short movie.
First narrative short film.
Exactly. I was usually doing TV series, but yeah, it's the first short movie, and I hope the only one, because it's a lot of work.
Well, you did a really great job of getting it done and not showing that you were under stress. I mean, you really ran a tight ship, and I don't think if we ever get a chance to do it again, I don't think we should drift too far from the formula that we already had for success. I mean, the way the stages and the sets and the camera movement and the team that we had and the way we worked together worked very, very well. And if this were to become 3 days in Paris as opposed to 2 or 3 weeks in Paris doing a full-length feature, I don't know the energy that we were able to create on the set for those few days. I'd love to be able to capture that again.
Yeah, the team is great. I'm working with them again. We just wrapped a movie with all my team. I mean, we are ready to welcome you again, Billy, of course. And everybody, actually, I have to say, everybody was so amazed to work with you. I want to say, I know I told you that, but I mean, I want to say that louder because it's always great to work with American.
Well, you told me that, and I'm always kind of intrigued by what it is that a French crew member sees in an American actor that they have a great appreciation and respect for. Because the thing that I love I'll tell you one thing that I love when I went to La Baule with you, and I didn't really say this when they gave me this award at La Baule. I never really said this, but one thing that that's important to me is, in America, it's kind of like, what have you done for me lately? What's happening for you right now? Are you in the hottest show on Netflix right now? And it's really challenging, every 3, 4, 5, 6 years to come up with Internal Affairs and then Backdraft and then, The Squid and the Whale and Dirty Sexy Money and, Northern Rescue and to constantly be able to come back to create opportunities for yourself in your career. But Americans and American press in particular and American fans sort of look at where are you now and what do you have to offer me now?
Yeah.
And what's happened in your life in the last 18 months. And one thing about European audiences, especially French audiences, is if you had stuff that is happening now, if it happened 5 years ago, if it happened 25 years ago, they look at the whole body of work, and they have admiration and respect and truly appreciation, the most important thing. Like French audiences always loved this film that I did with Sharon Stone called Sliver.
Yep.
And to this day, when I come to Europe, when I was at La Baule, I had more people come up to me and talk to me, not more than they spoke to me about talk, but they would reference when I did Internal Affairs with Richard Gere, when I did Sliver with Sharon Stone. And these are films that I made in 1989, 1992, 1993.
But it sticks.
It's great to see that they have that kind of acumen and that kind of sophistication, that kind of depth to their understanding and their knowledge and their appreciation,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's the way we as a French audience, we see the American actors. It's just, for example, Kevin Costner or Harrison Ford. We see the whole body of work they gave us through the years. And living in LA now, I can tell the difference.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right here, right now. It's just,
yeah.
You are in a constant search of having something to respond to that.
Yeah.
And I think when I'm making a movie, I guess it's the same for you, Ron. We are looking to create something that's going to last, not something that's going to just be check a box on IMDb. So maybe that's a huge difference, and it's an interesting perspective. Yeah.
Well, it's important to we live in it's tricky, something that lasts, because we live in a world now where, not with social media and everything, like really nothing lasts. The trick is, create content that has legs and that makes an impression, and then try to figure out how to capitalize on that, and find a way to be relevant in another new, fresh way, another way. I mean, I love when you're on social media and people are like, because you're not doing A-list studio films, but that's really not where the interesting stuff in the business is anymore, and people are like, when was the last time you worked? And I always like send them my link to IMDb. I'm starring in a show on Amazon. I'm producing a show for Netflix. I'm starring in these these Purge movies, these horror films. Purge. I'm in the television series The Purge, and I'm doing talk, and we just won 60 awards. Like, I couldn't be working more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Billy was here forever, and in La Boule Festival, he had a standing ovation from everybody, because with all his career, and from the French point of view, Billy is America's dad. He's like
kind of.
Yeah, you saw him in so many stuff, and
we've seen the movies, and we remember the movies.
And everybody loves. Yeah,
that's for sure. Are we going to have a season 2 of Northern Rescue? Do you have any information?
No, we wanted to do it, and in fact, on the call where Netflix was on the phone with the CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Company, and they wanted to pick up 2 more seasons, season 2 and season 3, and the CBC revealed to Netflix, they said, "That's great, we love the show, we want to keep going." They had a show on the CBC called Heartland, and they thought it was going to go 6 or 7 seasons, and it was in like its 12th season, and they thought they could sort of sunset Heartland and have us overlap by 2 seasons, and then we could take the place of Heartland, which was one of their top-rated shows in Canada. But of course, we were being distributed worldwide on Netflix, and to a very, very good response. The numbers were good, and audiences all around the world. We were getting information from South America, information from Africa, information from Eastern European countries, where people were really buzzing about it on the internet. But in that call, when they went to pick it up for season 2 and 3, the CBC said, full disclosure, we have to let you know about some bumps in the road that we hit with the production, with some people that were involved in the production. And when the CBC told Netflix some of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes with something that had happened, I can't really get into the specifics. I don't want to get into the legalese of it, because I don't want to say it the wrong way, but basically some of the producers behaved in a way that it became toxic, and Netflix pulled out of it immediately when they found that out. They're like, we don't want to do business with these people anymore. And we thought we may be able to get the copyright of the project away from them so that we can continue to make it with another production company with Netflix. And we kept that ball, in the air for 3 or 4 months after they said they were pulling out. But we were never able to extricate them from the project. They said they were going to hire lawyers, and they would allow us to take it to another production company. We would give them a small piece of the ownership, and that, as far as I know, that never happened. And I don't know, I guess they live in some fantasy land where they think maybe they'll be able to pull it together again, but it wouldn't be with our cast, because everybody's moved on and nobody's really interested in working with them anymore. Not Netflix or the CBC. We'd love to work with Netflix and the CBC, but these people that were involved that, acted in a way that was,
that's a shame, because that's
unethical, to say the least.
Killing a show.
Yeah.
And
they said we're never going to take an opportunity away from all these kids. Like, Billy can go find another job, but these kids whose careers are emerging and launching, we don't want to kill this momentum for them in their careers. And they never made it right. So
that's sad news. But on the other hand, you're going to have maybe a little bit more time to work on follow up with Talk.
Yeah, and I've got not a deal at Netflix, but Netflix has got an open door for me because they said, like, let's forget Northern Rescue. Let's just figure out what we're going to do next with Billy.
Yeah.
And we should, Rom, we should talk about that, what they're going to do next with Billy. I've got 5 or 6 ideas.
Awesome.
Perfect. Last question. Rom, what kind of show are you watching right now?
Actually,
Série télé, film.
I watched the Umbrella the Umbrella
Season 2.
Season 1. I'm late. I know. I was shooting the past few weeks. So, yeah, I watched that, and it's pretty good. I love the kid. I know if you watch that, Billy, the Umbrella
Company.
Yeah,
the Umbrella.
Yeah,
the Umbrella Company.
Yeah, I've been reading about it.
And actually, there is a kid who's playing the character of 5, who is actually playing an old man, but in the body of a kid. And he's so, I was so impressed by his performance. I really believe he's a 70 years old guy. So he's incredible. I want to work with him.
What about you, Billy? What kind of what show did you watch lately that just blew your mind or just shocked you? Or
I really loved Unorthodox. I don't know if you've seen that, but I really loved Unorthodox. I was raving about that when I first hit quarantine. My kids have been like in Netflix and playing NBA 2K and stuff since March 10th or whatever. I haven't had the chance. We moved again. I'm just living in a new house now. We just moved in the middle of the pandemic. I watched Unorthodox. I've been watching the documentary on Jeffrey Epstein.
Yep.
I've been watching the Michael Jordan piece, The Last Dance. One of my nieces is up staying with me, and she's been raving. I'm afraid to admit this online. I probably shouldn't, but she's watched Curb Your Enthusiasm every season like 3 or 4 times. And I told her I've only seen like a couple of episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So she's saying I'm going to watch season 1 for the first time. She's going to watch it for like the 5th time.
She's going to drag you in.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything, guys, you want to add regarding the movie, regarding anything you want to promote, anything you want to say?
Once again, I'm so happy to be at that festival. It's awesome, and honestly, thank you so much. And we can't wait. Finger crossed for these 2 great nominations.
Cool.
I would ask, do you know who won?
Not yet.
Are you lying? Look me in the eye and tell me you don't know. Look me in the eye and tell me you don't know.
I don't know.
I don't believe
because we have 154 films this year, films and artists and content, and the jury is reviewing all these films right now. Yeah. And we're gonna cast the votes by the end of the month, and we're gonna reveal the results.
How many shorts are in our category? 20, 50?
Just like you just hitting me with I don't know the answer. It's like
10.
Less than 10.
Yeah, less than 10.
Okay.
Between 5 and 10.
How many good shorts?
All of them.
No, I was kidding.
All of them. Just imagine, this year we had something like 1,200 submissions. Yeah, and so the competition in Paris for our festival is real and strong, believe me. And you got to be nominated 2 times. That's a huge win already.
Honestly, it's incredible.
And also you have another box you're checking because you've been winning Revelation Filmmaker, like we said before, at the Hollywood Festival we also ran. So this is, to me, this is the right time to be here, to be in competition. And I just want to say we are very happy to have it because the film is just good. It's great. So that's why you're here. Mm-hmm. And thank you for your time. We're gonna keep promoting the film. We're gonna keep promoting you guys, and we're gonna be in touch, and we're gonna send you the results. I cannot presume anything because I'm not voting, only the jury vote. So we made the selection. We got you in. Now the movie's gotta work. That's all.
Yeah, so much. We're so happy. Yeah.
Thank you guys for your time, and thank you for being here because by your time you are supporting independent filmmakers. Mm-hmm. All around the globe. We have movies from everywhere, and just being here, Billy, and giving us a little bit of your time to talk about it, that's just supporting a lot of people, even if you don't realize it. Thank you for that.
Well, let us know when Rom is in LA. I'll drive down. I live up in Santa Barbara. We'll come down and we'll take you out for some lunch or something. You know, whenever this is. It sounds like that's 6 months away, but
Yes, it does.
Yeah, 10 years away.
Yeah.
No. Maybe 6, 8, 10 months. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of the day, and wherever and whenever people you're watching this, it's likely like a good evening and a good night. Thank you all. See you soon.